sleep, my veins run dry, I'm empty. I can't see, I'm blinded by this concrete.
Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I am going to be filming an update 2-week wait after the embryo transfer that my husband and I flew to New York to get. I'm Canadian and so is my husband, and we actually went through IVF in New York City. If you haven't watched any of my prior videos, I would suggest you go back and do that because it was a wild ride to even get to where we are today. So the last episode, it was my husband and I flying home from New York after our embryo transfer. This is the first time we've ever done an embryo transfer. Our second attempt at getting it, because the first time my embryos got stuck on an airplane. Crazy story. I'm gonna link the video up top here. But basically we flew to New York. We had our embryo transfer at 10 a.m. We went back to our hotel and rested. Well, I rested in bed for 24 hours before flying home to Toronto. Basically, in the 2 weeks that you have to wait to do your pregnancy test, I watched every YouTube video I could find about what symptoms to anticipate. Honestly, I know everybody's different, but none of them coincided with my symptoms. So I felt no difference. The only thing that I would say I felt in the 2-week wait is maybe some cramping, but that's expected because they literally put a tiny little catheter in your uterus. So anybody that doesn't experience cramping, you are lucky, but it's not painful. The procedure wasn't painful. It was actually really interesting to see on the screen of them actually putting the embryo into the uterus. It was such a wild ride. I believe it was a year that my husband and I had been going through IVF, and I had been taking the stim medications. Unfortunately, I'm a poor responder. So the first round of stim meds did not work for me. I only had 2 follicles. And then my doctor in Manhattan, his name's Dr. Steinberg. He is world renowned at what he does. He incorporated a medication into my stim meds called Omnitrope, and Omnitrope is a growth hormone that reacted fantastically with my body, and I ended up having 9 follicles after he suggested this medication. So they ended up retrieving out of the 9 follicles 8 healthy eggs, and out of the 8 healthy eggs, 4 of them made it to the healthy blastocyst stage. And it depends where you're watching this video from, because in the States, they tell you how many embryos are actually girl embryos and how many are boys. But in Canada, where I'm from, they don't tell you that. And it is actually illegal here to choose the gender. But out of the 4 embryos that they recovered from me, they said that 3 were girls and 1 was a boy. And one of the girls was not genetically formed properly. So there would have been no quality of life. She would not have made it. So out of the 4, there ended up being 2 girl embryos and 1 boy. And my husband and I already have 2 little boys, ages 4 and 3. So we opted with choosing a female embryo. That's very exciting for us. So going back to our 2-week wait, I did feel nothing out of the ordinary. I couldn't sleep, but I think that was more nerves and just some cramping. So light period cramping is what I felt. I didn't have any blood. They warn you that after the embryo transfer, you might have some spotting. I didn't experience that, which was relieving, because as a woman, that's the last thing you want to see when you're trying to conceive. So the doctors told us that after 2 weeks, we would do a blood pregnancy test and see what the HCG levels were, and as well as I believe it's the progesterone levels. And I don't know about you guys if you're going through IVF, but the progesterone was the absolute worst thing I've ever had to do in my life. The needle in your bum, like if you're going through it, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry for you right now. Yes, so after 2 weeks, they do the blood test to see if you are in fact pregnant and if the embryo transfer worked. So if you're anything like I am, obviously I didn't wait the 2 weeks because I'm crazy, and I ended up doing tests after 3 days after transfer, or maybe I should say 4 days. So 4 days after transfer. Please hold, my dog wants to come in the room. Sorry about that. So I started doing pregnancy tests after 4 days, and I didn't use any good ones because clearly they're crazy expensive. So I only wanted to use the cheapos that I still had from my husband and I trying to get pregnant for years. And my first faint positive on the cheap test was 4 days after transfer. And this is not going to be the case for every woman. So if you are doing tests, 4 days after and it's saying negative, there are a bazillion stories of women that don't even show positive on pregnancy tests until they do the blood test. So, but just my story, I'm impatient. I can never wait to test, but I think I only have videos from 6 days past transfer on that I recorded, and those started showing up fairly strongly on the more expensive tests. So, but you have to remember, I did transfer a frozen embryo and it was a 5-day blastocyst. So I'm not sure if that would make the test show positive quicker for me. I'm not 100% sure, but yes, I had very early results for positive, which was so relieving for me because we went through so much to get here. After the 2-week wait, we went and had our blood taken, and they said that my levels were great, and you still have to keep getting blood taken every few days to make sure your HCG levels are rising appropriately, and mine were. So that was really good news for my husband and I. First time doing an embryo transfer, we are lucky enough that we do have a positive result. We're just hoping to keep that positive result because in the past couple years trying to get pregnant, we have experienced numerous miscarriages, early miscarriages, I should say, and chemical pregnancies. So we're trying everything that we can to keep this pregnancy going as healthy as we can. And I just am very grateful that this is where we are right now. But if you haven't already watched my whole IVF journey, I would really suggest you go back. First off, subscribe, but go back and watch, because what my husband and I went through is such a crazy whirlwind. So if you are a poor responder, or you have had no luck, I'm going to link in the description box below the doctor that I went to. You can actually watch lots of clips about his clinic on YouTube. His name's Dr. Jeffrey Steinberg, and he is the best at what he does. And if you have any questions at all and you're Canadian and you're wondering how you proceed with seeing a doctor like Jeffrey Steinberg, just make sure to reach out to me, email me, private message me, follow me on Instagram, and I would love to answer any questions. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I'll be putting up another update video shortly about what has been going on in the pregnancy. So, stay tuned for my next update video and subscribe. Thanks for watching.
No sleep while things run dry, I'm empty. I can't see, I'm blinded